Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sitting here to verify that if this crown is okay or not. And of course I looked at it prior to making this video a little bit. I'm gonna make a long story short. The crown is very fine, but I also want to make sure you see that I'm not taking this lightly when somebody says something is not right here. It looks to me that the assessment is perhaps due to a lack of experience, and maybe I can fill some of that experience in. So let me see that I have everything I need to point in the right directions here. Hope that is sharp now. There's a couple of gaskets. Were these gaskets too thin or thick enough? I verified that. They are fitting perfect as they need to. And of course they should be greased, was a appropriate grease to later, when this mod is correct or done, be pressure tested and verify hopefully that this is a 200 meter safe to take down there. But the pressure verification is done on way at the end in a pressure tester. We don't pressure test 200 meter. We don't have that ability. We have a pressure tester that goes good for an SNCH, but not this is a real diving watch. SKX does 200 meter and you can go down there. It then becomes really a life-saving device, and you should not take it lightly, because you know it could mess with somebody's life. But here it is, when the crown stem is not attached, there is a wobble possible, and it's normal here in the crown itself because it has no guidance. But if you test it without a stem and you want to screw it on, you just need to make sure that you do this perpendicular until it's correctly installed. When it's correctly screwed down, it screws down all the way like it needs to. And I show you here, see, that's how it goes. This is when it comes to the inside of a watch, we're all of a sudden talking a thousandth of a millimeter. These crowns are very precisely manufactured. When you have, I'm gonna take it off. It's not greased yet, but you really need to. When the stem, these are not cut stems, these are, you cut them. These are universal lengths, and depending on what case you need, you need to cut them in the lengths. Typically, they're cut very close to, most of the thread will be gone. They're somewhere here, down there cut, and that's because leaving just enough. But otherwise, they screw onto the crown. Sorry. Normally I use my Bergen stem holder, but for this, just to screw it on to show you, no big deal. It's on, and it needs to wobble. I probably can show you better when I attach it here with no movement inside. Then see, it needs to wobble because that allows the transfer of precision onto the gaskets and to the threads that they are responsible for creating a waterproof situation. If this would not be somewhat wobbling or flexible, it wouldn't do that. They do that in other watches that are not 200 meter water resist, because if you just squeeze a gasket thousands or hundreds, they'll still do 100 meter just fine, but a 200 meter needs to have a higher precision, and that is part of the design. See, it's just exactly like a stock one. The stock ones sometimes even wobble much more. We had once a customer send it back. He couldn't stomach that. But we made another video for him where I showed it too. So anyway, the stem is uncut, and if the stem is uncut and I would have a movement in here, my crown would stick out somewhere here. It's, you can't even do anything. Click, click, and then so it has to be cut correctly, and then it can be, the screw in process is very easy, because all of a sudden it gets extra guidance here. So I can't find anything wrong on this crown or on the stem for sure. And this is a SKX case I tested it on. I am not be able to resell this crown as new. We wouldn't do that. It has left our stock and a half year ago, I think, and we couldn't manufacture put it back to the manufacturer because and say it's defective, because it's not, and they would maybe test it better than I do, but they certainly would see that there is nothing. See here also, this one, well, maybe you see it. See, it has a spring in there that puts some lateral pressure on, allows also for the screw down process. Yeah, what else could I say? Please be careful when you modify diving watches that are also life-saving devices. Because if you take this down to 200 meters and you don't really know what you do yet, then I completely respect the learning process. We all had to start somewhere. We have 4,000 transactions on eBay alone, and maybe this tells you I did quite a few of these. When you learn, you can't start out as an expert. You start out as a beginner, and this is a very expert job to really put a crown in. See, if and then on a diving watch, you may want to think twice about that, and maybe you want to hire a professional for certain things. Who knows? I'm certainly glad to check it and verify that we're not taking any form of claim lightly. This customer, Ross, is also very nice and with us and in the whole process. This is my verification for this crown. The crown works good on a SKX case. I would not be able to say anything else. So thank you again for involving us. Hopefully this helps watch modifiers to see how it wobbles. This needs to be that way. When you modify a crown and you cut a winding stem, there is a certain experience required already. It's on the watch modifying it goes into a more difficult part of watch modifying. But the crown is good, the watch stem is good, the gaskets are good, but they need to be greased, and here it should be also. If you modify a watch and you put a new watch case on, a case back, verify that your gaskets are having new grease on it. If you modify with your so-called old new parts, they are often pre-greased from the factory, and it appears to you it might not be necessary. But new parts, they're not pre-greased, and you really need to make sure you do. So thank you again, Ross, and good luck with your projects. The people will write back to you, and I don't know what we can do with the crown. We certainly wouldn't resell parts that been. This is good, it's verified, but we cannot resell this as a new part, and we certainly would not engage in a practice like this. I think it was a half year out of our stock, so I don't know what exactly happened. Again, thank you very much, and bye-bye.